Welcome back. Earnings season in full swing. Allergan reporting third quarter results last hour. Both profit and revenue coming in below Wall Street expectations. The stock is up ahead of the open as the company also announced it will expand its share buyback program and will start paying a dividend next year. Joining me right now in a Fox Business exclusive is the chairman and CEO of Allergan, CEO Brent Saunders. Brent, good to see you.
Nice to have you so much. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to see you. So first, the earnings in the quarter. What drove the quarter? What were the highlights?
Yeah, so a little disappointing quarter for us. Most of that miss was related to some older products that either went generic or some of the older products that are competing against generics. But the good news is our growth drivers, the most important products that we have, all grew strong double digits. Botox up 15%. Restasis up 13%, Linzess up 42%, just to name a few.
Yeah, and those are really important products for the company. You believe that's where the growth is going to come from going forward.
That is our future. The products that didn't grow, Namenda XR, for example, are not our future. That really is almost our past, but the future looks incredibly strong, and it gives us great confidence in our ability to continue growing when you look at the main products, the things that we're going to be focusing on for the next few years, 5 years, 10 years, having such great growth. And we launched a few new products this year, and they're doing really great. In fact, they contribute about $90 million of sales in the quarter.
Yeah, tell me about the pipeline. A lot of analysts talking about the pipeline, promising, and it's a pipeline that's being undervalued in terms of the whole Allergan story.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that.
What's most important in the pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't get a lot of credit for our pipeline. We're out talking about it more and more, particularly as we move some of these things into late phase. So this quarter, we moved an important drug, Repastinel, into phase 3. This could be a revolutionary new treatment for depression, and so we're very excited about that. We have a new migraine drug, Abrojapant, in phase 3. We're expecting data on a new drug called Esmia, the first pharmacological therapy for uterine fibroids for women, around the first quarter of this year, so we finished that work. We have a new drug for AMD in phase 3, mid-stage phase 3, that could change the paradigm for people with AMD. So we have some really big blockbusters in the pipeline in late-stage testing. We'll be moving our NASH drug that we just acquired into phase 3 in the first half of next year. So we're really moving this pipeline.
So when you talk about phase 3, that means it could be on the market, what?
And it depends on each drug, but let's say after the study, about a year. So
a year. Right.
You're talking about 2 years total.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier in terms of the weak spots here, you know, generics, that's your life. I mean, this is like the normal, right? I mean, you're always going to see that kind of competition.
You do. There's a normal product cycle in pharmaceuticals. Generally, you have a drug to sell or market anywhere from 7 to 10 years. There's some exceptions for that, especially biologics or drugs like Botox that have longer lives, or commercial lives, if you will. But yes, absolutely, and we're used to it. And what we want to do is we want to be ahead of the product recycle game. So many big pharmaceutical companies, they go through hills and valleys. What we've done at Allergan is we've built our portfolio, much like you'd build a bond portfolio. We laddered the programs. We gave ourselves several shots on goal. And as some of our bigger products come off, we should have 2 or 3 big ones replacing each one. Not always going to work out because it's science. Sometimes studies don't work. But that's the game that we're playing. That's what we're trying to get done, and we're trying to innovate for patients.
So earlier this year, you tried to merge with Pfizer. You were unable to do that, obviously, because of regulators pushing back. So now you're expanding your buyback program. This is a big deal. This is what markets are reacting to this morning. What was behind the move to expand that buyback and pay the dividend?
Yeah, so we're doing 2 big capital allocations this quarter. One is we're expanding our buyback to a total of $15 billion. 5 we've already completed, and $10 billion we're announcing today we're going to do as an accelerated share repurchase, or ASR, so we can take most of those shares out of the share count immediately. So a really fast way of getting some accretion. The reason we're doing that particular capital allocation is when we look at all the things we can buy, and we're still looking at stepping stone style acquisitions to buy, there's nothing more accretive than buying our own stock. We believe our stock is fundamentally undervalued. And so here's a great opportunity in perhaps a tough market for healthcare to go out and buy a lot of stock back and get some massive accretion for our company.
So will 2017 be a year also of smaller fill-in deals that you are looking to create more growth at the company?
Yeah, absolutely. So the move that we're making today, both the buyback and the dividend of about 70 cents, leaves us enough firepower and enough free cash flow that the majority of what we can do is still go out and invest for growth. And so we really tried to balance or find the right balance point for these capital allocation decisions. And the first goal we have is investing for growth.
A couple of weeks ago, we saw all the pharmaceutical companies, stocks sell off, biotech sold off, because there was this expectation that the Democrats would get a sweep in the presidency, the House and Senate, and then there would be a cap on drug prices. You put your own unofficial cap on drug prices, didn't you?
We did.
You say you have a contract with America. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so over the summer, we adopted or formalized or codified what we call our social contract with patients. And it really is about balancing the need to invest in innovation, cures and treatments for unmet medical need, with responsible pricing and providing access to medicine. There's another component that talks about education and manufacturing reliability and quality. But the main thing that we're trying to say is these drug price increases that we read about sometimes or hear about on your program have to stop. We need responsible action by the pharmaceutical industry. We need responsible action by the other participants in the drug pricing system to make sure that drugs are priced appropriately, that people can afford them, that there's accessibility. And so Allergan is absolutely committed to doing their part, and we're not going to take those big price increases.
And by the way, if you don't do it and Hillary Clinton is the president, you will be forced to do it.
I think that's right. I think we need to self-regulate.
Exactly.
The last thing anybody wants is a government takeover of healthcare, right? And so self-discipline, self-control, and frankly, just doing the right thing is easy.
Let me ask you real quick before you go. As a business guy, would you invest more, create more jobs under a 15% tax rate? I mean, I'm looking at the tax plans of Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. I don't want to get political on you, but I also want to know if lower taxes on a corporate level would actually change your behavior.
Yeah, so it's a great issue. For me, it's very simple. The best way to think about corporate taxes is just a cost of doing business, right? There's nothing patriotic about paying taxes. There's nothing there's no morality around paying taxes. It's a legal obligation.
It's dollars and cents.
If you take a mortgage deduction, is that unpatriotic? No. So let's be clear. These things that they call loopholes, or pundits or politicians like to call loopholes, they aren't. They're the tax code. The tax code is filled with exceptions and opportunities to lower your tax.
So the answer is yes.
And so yes, if you can lower the cost of doing business, whether it be raw materials, whether it be taxes, whether it be labor, you're going to do more, right?
So that you could invest that elsewhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, the short answer is absolutely. A lower tax rate, lower cost of doing business, more money to invest, particularly for us in innovation, in jobs, in science, and new drugs.
Brent, good to have you on the program.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Brent Saunders, CEO, Allergan there. Coming up, new